What's up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 74, and I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram, and on YouTube, just search Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. It's pretty easy to find. That's my channel. I am at Adam Choit on Instagram if you want to follow me, and it's the same on Twitter. Please be sure to subscribe and give the show a positive review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts as well. That is definitely helpful, and definitely subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on if it's something other than Apple Podcasts. I'm on Spotify and pretty much wherever you can download podcasts. And I have another podcast called People We Love. What I do with that one is interview people from all walks of life, most often comedians and other entertainment types about their lives and careers. The conversation is casual, but I also ask everyone to highlight the people they love, and that has been a lot of fun. Definitely check out that podcast as well, at People We Love Podcast on Instagram, or check out peoplewelovepodcast.com. So, for today's episode of this podcast, we have young photographer and videographer for Tedeschi Trucks Band themselves, Bradley Strickland. Bradley grew up in Jacksonville, Florida himself, in a musical family. After showing interest in weather photography, he started taking concert photos at the local St. Augustine Amphitheater. He actually grew up playing Little League with Derek's son. The families kept in touch, and one thing led to another, and now Bradley is a fairly new member to the TTB team. He's worked at a few shows so far, but has worked extensively on the band's upcoming I Am the Moon, which is an epic undertaking of 4 albums with 4 corresponding films and 24 original songs. This is all coming later this year, actually very soon. And we cover it all and more. So let's just get started. Here's Bradley Strickland. Okay, so it's good to see you today, Bradley Strickland. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Of course, happy to be here.
Oh, for sure. How are you holding up during whatever year this is?
Doing good. It's been a busy year so far.
It sounds like it. The band's been working hard. TTB's been working hard, and I'm sure you've been working hard. I like your outfit, by the way. What you're wearing, it's good. Good choice in
black t-shirts
and clothing, for sure. We can get right into it. You can tell me a little bit about your background and where you're from, and your musical journey is kind of what I ask everybody to get into. So tell me a little about where you grew up and your family, and we'll steer the conversation to music, I'm sure.
Yeah, so born in Jacksonville, always lived in Jacksonville. I would like to at some point maybe end up in New York City for a bit, or LA, but we'll see. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm in LA right now, so I can tell you. At least it's not as bad as I guess San Francisco is. I think the most expensive at this point. Yeah, tell me about. Did you grow up? Have siblings and whatnot?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers, and my whole house, everyone plays multiple instruments, so it's all very noisy in here.
Oh, so you do come from like a musical family.
Yeah, thankfully, my dad's a pretty big music nerd and always played guitar, so growing up, always wanted to be interested in what he's doing.
What are your earliest like musical memories when you were like 5, 6 years old in elementary school? What was playing around the house? What music kind of jumps out at you that you were listening to or hearing?
Mix of stuff. U2's in there. Some Led Zeppelin, The Who. A whole bunch of stuff. Tons of jazz. Lots of classical music. Pretty much anything 80s or older.
What do you remember about? Were you most passionate, or did you have like favorite kind of stuff when you listened to to hear when you were a kid? Was it that classic rock stuff, or were you a jazz kid? Are there 5, 6-year-olds that are into like hardcore, that are hardcore into jazz and whatnot?
Yeah, for me, at first it was really classical music. I played classical guitar for a while, so I just dove really deep into that, and then dove into jazz.
When did you start playing guitar, classical guitar?
Started playing seriously around third grade, but I
Wow.
dabbled earlier.
Wow. You dabbled earlier than third grade?
Well, yeah, attempted to hold a guitar, but it's a little big.
Were you how skilled? I mean, if you're playing classical guitar, you must be pretty skilled at the instrument just to kind of be able to keep pursuing it.
I guess I don't know. I play.
Are you still playing these days?
Yeah, I play guitar way less than I do. When I moved schools, I ended up they didn't have a guitar program, so I got stuck on bass, and I hated it at first, but some of the band members are the reason I stuck with it.
Gotcha. So we got some guitar, we got some bass, getting some of your musical influences. What about when you were like growing up a little older, like middle school, junior high, whatever? What were you
You know,
listening to, and where did your kind of musical journey go from there?
middle school, that's when I really dove into jazz, and I got pretty experimental with it at one point. So I was listening to some pretty weird stuff, a lot of free jazz. Um, then started diving heavy into the jam band scene to listen to a lot of almonds. And then through high school, you know, that's when I got into more of that classic rock.
Everything comes back. You kind of got back into it after getting exposed to that stuff early on. You were playing in bands in high school, or playing jazz or the rock stuff, or anything like that?
Yeah, I played upright bass in a jazz comp. I played at school, but then I played at a combo. We had some gigs around town.
That's fun. That must have been fun.
It was a blast. We used to do this one Christmas party every year at this guy's house, and that was that was like the highlight of the year.
Nice. What about because I was reading your bio a little bit. It sounded like you got into into photography and videography fairly young as well in your teens. How did that all come about?
Um, you know, it goes back to, I think a lot of this stuff goes back to my dad. I saw him recording family vacations, and just wanted to hold a camera. But then I really dove into it. I saw a photo in a book about storm chasing from Warren Fadley, and it's this crazy picture of lightning coming down. And I was like, I want to take pictures like that, especially being in Florida with all the crazy weather we get sometimes. So, started with trying to record and capture all the severe weather
On film, or on like still photos, or video, or both?
on both. And yeah, I actually took a course in being a storm spotter for the National Weather Service in like fourth grade, and I dove deep into weather.
That sounds like a very Florida thing, that there's a course available for
Yeah,
that anyone can, I guess anyone, kids or otherwise, can access and sign up for. Very,
yeah, it
very.
was an online course, and
So you didn't get to go out and chase any of the storms as part of the course? Was that like a no field trip or anything like that?
yeah, it's meant to just kind of spot stuff you're not really supposed to follow, but most storm chasers take the course to get a good background and what to look for, who to report to.
Are you kind of a daredevil type person or anything like that?
No, definitely not, but I still tell myself I would love to go drive into a tornado in one of those crazy vehicles and film it, but I know I can't do that.
Anything for the art, anything for a good photo, anything for a cool video.
Yeah, maybe for the photo I can pull it off.
So where do we go from there with the video and the photography after kind of like getting into it for the weather purposes?
One day when I was 15, I think, I got bored in a hotel room and I emailed some venues around town, and I was like, because I thought, why not combine two things I love doing? And I was like, hey, I don't know if this helps or not. Here's some weather pictures I've took, and can I shoot some photos? And actually, the St. Augustine Amphitheater let me be one of their house photographers.
Wow. What do you remember seeing any notable shows, like when that first gig first kind of started up?
We did done Sublime with Rome, Yes in Asia, There's some big groups. Old Dominion's a big country band. I shot their show. Did the Widespread Panic shows. Whole bunch of stuff.
What venue was that again?
The St. Augustine Amphitheater.
Yeah, so that must be a fairly significant venue, bringing these pretty high-profile acts for sure.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites around here.
When you first started, shooting photos at concerts, photography at concerts, sounds like. Did you know right away that this is like, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is like a passion fulfilled, or did you have like that sort of, not out of body experience per se, but like epiphany, so to speak?
Yeah, even some bands, the bands I didn't like, I've always loved going to shows. So the first one I did, I was like, whoa, I get to come here for free and be front row and take pictures and do all that. So I was instantly hooked.
That's interesting that even bands you don't like, you still are able to get like an enjoyable experience, unless it's music you really, really don't like. That's almost like noise pollution. Perhaps that might not be as an enjoyable experience. But besides like being able to do what you love and shoot photos at concerts, was it the crowd and the energy and the enthusiasm of everyone there? I have a feeling that makes the whole experience that much more fun for you.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. One of my favorite memories is from being there was with Widespread. I was, with the band on that one, and walking out behind them to capture a photo, and you hear the crowd scream. It was like, it's pretty energizing, feeling the power of the crowd behind you.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like for, an artist to hear those cheers. I mean, that's probably what keeps them going. I guess, like B.B. King said, it's like you're paid to travel and you do the shows for free. Like that's the that's the fun part. Is that, and do you find? I mean, we'll get into it later. But do you find that's the most fun part? Obviously, is the shows themselves, and everything else is kind of like that's where the real grind and the work comes in. Everything that goes on in between shows.
Right now, I'm loving every second of it. Being able to travel and experience new places, but editing at 6 a.m, I guess, isn't. That's not the most fun part, but I love every second of it. So
that's great.
It's all worth it.
Very cool. So you sounds like you were 15, 16, 17, whatever years old, and you're already starting to get these professional jobs, these professional gigs, working at the amphitheater and maybe some different venues and shooting these high profile bands. What were your like plans for, like, I guess after high school and beyond at this point? I mean, you look like you're a fairly young guy right now.
Yeah, I'm only 20.
Oh man, look at you. You are young. You are a young man. Damn. Yeah. Very, very cool. So you just went pretty much, sounds like, right into the workforce straight out of high school and doing what you want to do.
I went to college for a bit. I always knew it wasn't really going to be my thing because I knew I was just so passionate about what I did. I just wanted to dive right into it and get straight to work. And then, got the opportunity to work with the band full time after doing a couple, side gigs with them, and I dropped out that day.
You're talking about Tedeschi Trucks.
Yeah.
Did they ever think, like, not feel guilty per se, but like about like yanking a kid out of college, like, and what about your parents or anything? Was there any pushback for not like pursuing education? I mean, obviously a lot has changed in this world and the economy, and I totally support and are thrilled for you that you're able to pursue what you love. But did you get any pushback about, like, what the hell's this young kid doing photography? Go to college and become something else. Get a normal job.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I come from a family of educators, and but my parents knew I loved this, and they've always supported me. So the second I got the opportunity, they said to go for it. So
very cool. Yeah, and you said you came from a musical family, and it sounds like an artistic family as well. So
yeah,
what you were pursuing probably was not too foreign to them.
Yeah, and my dad, we just had a conversation last night, and he was like, you live in my dream. He's like, I've always wanted to go on the road.
Very cool. Yeah,
So
my dad has not said that to me so far, and the time that we've known each other for my whole life, and half of his life, almost half of his life. But that's cool. How did you get connected to or connected with Tedeschi Trucks Band? Because you said you did
yeah.
a couple of shoots for them. Obviously, you're from Jacksonville and you're in the music, photo, video world. But how did that all kind of come together with the band?
So that actually goes way back. I played baseball when I was 7 with their son, and my parents and them just kind of hit it off, became friends. So I've grown up watching the band do their thing, and that was a huge influence on me too. Just seeing them do their thing, I've always known like I want to be a part of that one day.
So if the band's been around about a decade and you've known them probably that long or longer, you've been going to TTB shows for even before you started filming for them and was into the music and all that.
Yeah, my first concert ever was a TTB at the Florida Theater in Jacksonville, and I think I only watched 4 songs, then sat in the bus and ate all their candy. But that was my first show.
And that was what year do you think that was?
I was just looking at passes the other day. I think it was 2011.
Yeah, so you were 11, maybe younger even. Wait,
I
I'm bad
was
at math.
Yeah, I was 10 at that show. 9 or 10 years old. So we had done them for a little bit.
Have you gone to a bunch of TTB shows over the years after that?
Actually, no. I been to 2 daily shows, a show in Melbourne, and that first Jacksonville show.
Yeah, a few over the years. You're a family friend. You're not a crazy fan quite yet, I guess. What about baseball? Because I'm a baseball fan as well. What position did you play?
Oh, I was terrible. I played right field, so I was truly awful. I couldn't hit, couldn't catch, but I loved it. So
Well, that's you don't hear that a lot. People who aren't good at this thing, they don't always love it, I guess. But that's a testament to you, I guess. To be able to find joy in being outside, hanging out
yeah,
with people.
I love trying it out, but I guess just wasn't my thing.
Gotcha. So you just kind of kept in touch with the band, with TTB, it sounds like, or Derek, over the years, and families and whatnot, and then just kind of one thing led to another, and they gave you a chance to shoot a couple of shows. Is that kind of how things came together?
What actually it happened over the pandemic, because 2020 you can't, you couldn't fly people in, you couldn't have people travel, you didn't want to be around people you didn't know where they've been. So we did that Be Here Now video with Doyle, and so I got brought in for that, started filming, and then ended up being part of this album project starting early 2021.
Gotcha. So how many shows have you been kind of worked so far with them?
I've only done Chicago, Warner, and the Capitol Theater so far, but
yeah, tell me about those, or the experience so far.
yeah, it's been great. Chicago, that was the first time I've seen snowfall. It was 3 a.m. and ran outside like a little kid, run into the snow, and the people in the lobby were making fun of me, but that was fun. That's the travel part, but being at the show and just getting to see the band do their thing for so many days was really cool and exciting.
Yeah,
to capture it.
I'm sure. I asked this of people who work in the music business and at live events. Do you find, like, not a struggle, but I feel like there's always a balance between like enjoying the show and paying attention to the show, but also you have a job to do. Are you able to balance like your work, but also like living in the moment still and appreciating the music and whatnot? How do you strike that kind of balance?
Yeah, sometimes it's tough, and at first, definitely in Chicago, it was tough because it was the first time I had been out, kind of as part of it, and you get to be in the rehearsal room and see how it all comes together. So that was the first time I was like, it's hard to balance. I was just so amazed by the whole process. But since I've been doing concerts for a while, every time I go to a show, I'm always thinking about the shot. It's hard to just watch a show, so I feel like it's kind of easy to tune it out.
Yeah, maybe not tune it out, but I know what you mean. The majority of your focus on the task at hand. But that's
Yeah.
what you love. I mean, like you were saying, to be able to combine those two of
Mhm.
your probably biggest passions, I would guess. Like
Yeah.
that is awesome. Like people say they're living the dream or they hope to be living the dream, but it sounds like you really are doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Thankfully, I get to be surrounded by music and do stuff I love and be a part of a great team. So.
Yeah, not just music, the best touring band out
Oh
there.
yeah, definitely. I don't think there's a show out there like it. So it's really cool to, get to see that all the time and be a part of that and see how it comes together.
There really isn't. I mean, obviously, I'm quite biased in that opinion, but I really
Yeah.
do truly believe there is no band like that. Like like I
Yeah.
ask people you can't really, how do you really follow? Like no one could really follow Tedeschi Trucks. Like how can you follow that like powerhouse
Oh yeah.
band?
It's 'cause everyone in that group is so talented individually, and when they come together, it's there's no ego involved. Everyone's just there to be part of the band and do what they love to do. So it's a pretty incredible, unique experience.
Yeah, that's totally the vibe that they put out, and like this, I mean, this comes up over and over again, but like everyone I speak to, whether it's another fan or whether it's someone who's played with them or another photographer or whatever the case may be, like everyone always has the kindest words to say about Derek and Susan and the band and the atmosphere and the
Oh yeah.
family like vibe around them. Like that's all true, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. The family vibe. It definitely is a family. So.
And that is that a stark contrast to some of the other bands that you've been around over the years? It's like that is not necessarily a normal thing. Is that true that like they stand out in that way for being such a great family atmosphere and down to earth people? Is that different than some of your other experiences over the years?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of shows. You can kind of get a feeling for it, but this is on a different level. I don't think there's a group that bonds like this and has the relationship they have with the people on and off the stage.
Yeah, that's cool, and I think that's. I mean, obviously, we all love the music. We the fans love the music, but we get that energy from the band and see that, and that makes them that much more relatable, and they're very
Yeah.
accessible as well. Like I've seen, they'll stay and sign things and take
Mhm.
pictures, and when you talk to anyone in the band, like you really feel like you're getting their attention, like, and that's you don't get that from every musician
Oh
and
no.
everyone in the public eye. It's quite cool that they have that going for them.
Yeah, it's a genuine experience. There's not an act. So
No, for
definitely
sure.
definitely special.
What's it like to be in those like rehearsals? Like, do you have to pinch yourself to some
Yeah,
degree?
sometimes you have to be like, to me, that's too always the coolest part because you're kind of seeing it all come together and um, seeing how this band puts their shows together and watching them put the set list together. That's for me is like one of the coolest parts.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to who was that? I think Bobby T's outside the Beacon stage door last year, and he was telling me
Mm.
that you guys have like an app or something, and you kind of like chime in on the app about like the set list.
Yep.
Maybe not you, but like the band members, I'm sure, like kind of like uh
Yeah, they got a good system, but yeah, the app we have a app that lets us know everything that's going on, the schedule, the flights, everything. It's a great app.
very organized. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
there is.
Dealing with it.
Everyone's
Yeah, go on.
everyone's scattered, so you got people out in LA, New York, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Texas, Nashville.
Yeah, beyond just like the 12 members, all the everyone else who has to be to be
Oh yeah,
in the know about things.
yeah. There's a lot of people.
Sounds like a pretty well-oiled machine, though, at this point.
Yeah, there's a system to it, and there's a method to the madness, I guess.
Do you have any like insights as far as like how set lists or anything about like the rehearsals or how those things like come together? Like people just throwing out songs and obviously I'm guessing Derek has probably the final say or spearheads a lot of this, what goes into a show musically.
Yeah, they have a list, I guess, of all the tunes they know and are comfortable with, and like their full catalog, Sue's full catalog, Derek's full catalog, and all the covers they know. And they take a look at what's been played previously in years in the same locations, and just try to make sure it's a unique experience every time they play a show. And I notice a lot, like Gabe's really heavily involved in the process too.
That's impressive. I don't know. I mean, does every band do that? Whereas they actually look like the previous year what they played? Is that fairly common?
Oh no, I think it's pretty common people to kind of stick to the same
Right.
few things, and they want to make sure that people are getting something special every time they come to a show.
That's really cool, and as fans we definitely appreciate that. I understand like why you would want to not play something that you played yesterday if you're doing like a residency, but like the year before, looking into that's like above and beyond. I feel like if I saw a TTB concert last year and then I saw them again like the following year, I'm not gonna. I mean, I might remember some of the songs, but if they played like the same set list, I probably wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, and that's the great thing too. Even if there is a repeat, they're all incredible, and they're still going to be unique because they open it up to the band to just kind of do their thing.
You ever make any suggestions for them for covers to play? Because that's a big thing with fans. I want to hear them play this. I want to hear them play that.
Obviously, no, I keep my mouth shut on that one.
Yeah, you're not quite. You're a little bit newer to the world. It sounds like you're not ready. They're not ready for you to start like making suggestions. But I'm sure they get it from everyone. Everyone's like always like.
And that's the thing too. Sometimes you have too many cooks in the kitchen, and it just becomes a problem. So, if I need to make a lighting suggestion, I'll do that. If I need to do a lighting suggestion, hey, maybe in the rehearsal room, let's set this light up. But other than that,
No, that's cool. You stay in your lane.
Yeah.
where to stay. What can you tell me about what's upcoming as far as the I Am the Moon project?
Well, it's a huge project. I think that, it's been. I think they started working on it late 2020, so it's been a few years in the making. And that's been an incredible experience too. And thankfully, I've been able to be a part of it in different ways. My dad and I, we did the sequence for the album, so we listened to them before I got involved filming.
What do you mean? What do you mean you did the? What does that mean?
We listened to all the tracks, and we put them in order and put them into the episodes, and that order stuck. So we did that, and then I even got to be the mixing assistant this year, so that was cool.
So you got your hands in a couple of different areas, even on the audio side. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's another thing I've always been interested in. I've always asked Bobby questions growing up, like, "Hey, how do I do this? What do you do with this?" And I have a console right here and a tape machine, and
very cool.
Anything that's nerdy, I guess I'm into.
tech and music tech and photo and video.
Yeah.
But you yourself haven't been playing too much music lately.
No, I try to keep up with it and stick to it, but it's kind of hard to do that sometimes.
Have you had the chance to jam or anything like that with anyone in the band on the road so far, just messing around?
I haven't had the chance to. Maybe one day it'll come up. I know some of the guys have talked about it.
It'll happen, I'm sure. Does everyone
Yeah.
who's like on a crew for a band like TTB, are they all musicians on some level? Because you must love music. Does everyone at least dabble in guitar or sing a little bit? I feel like I'm guessing that
Yeah.
like
think everyone. I think I'm pretty sure everyone plays something, but some of them are really great. Like Ryan Murphy, Sue's tech. He's quite an incredible guitar player himself. I haven't heard anyone else like seriously play anything, but I heard him at soundcheck one day checking something out, and I was like, "Whoa, he can play."
yeah. What about like the habits of like Derek and Susan as like professional musicians in the band? What do you like observe about them that makes them like special musicians? Something about their dedication that you've observed?
I think everyone is so deep into music and music history and like the roots where it all comes from, and uh, they're so open to worldly music too, and just having that knowledge of where it all comes from, how it all comes together, really just takes them to the next level, I think.
Yeah, I think that's part of the big big connection or biggest connection between the members in the band is that like they all have that respect for music history, like you're saying,
Hmm.
and put the music above everything. It's like it's a no
Yeah.
frills band. Like the music is the number one priority, like more
Hmm.
than anything, and that really shines through for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about it. No matter what they do, it's always about the music.
Yeah, I mean, even as a fan, like I'm being constantly being exposed to new music through them, through the covers that they play, and through
Mhm.
the worldly music that they expose me to, and through different interviews and conversations and things I read about them. Like I'm
Yeah.
constantly being introduced to new bands and new songs and new artists. And I think that's part of what sustains me as like a fan of this band and then being my favorite band is that they don't play
Mhm.
the same set list every night, is that they do have such variety and so many different influences. It's like it really does like sustain you because you're getting so many different really genres too, like even in just
Oh
like
yeah.
one show it's just like so many
Mhm.
surprises and it's like a journey. Every show is a journey, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that goes into the set list as well as like balancing the upbeat songs with the ballads and the covers and the Allman stuff
Yeah.
and the Derek and the Dominoes stuff and the new originals and the old originals and whatnot.
I think that's what's cool about this new record is a lot of different band members brought their influences into it and wrote some tunes, and you're going to hear a lot of different genres, different influences, and just really what this band's capable of, which is really kind of playing anything.
Yeah, no, I've mentioned I would listen to Susan sing the phone book and Derek play Happy Birthday on slide guitar. Like I'm
Yeah.
happy to like like I was saying, a lot of fans will suggest songs or will want to hear this or want to hear that and say I like this, I like that. I'm just like totally whatever the band wants to do. I'm just happy to go along for the journey and for the ride.
Yeah.
What are some other maybe highlights so far? Anything that jump out at you about your early gigs so far with the band?
I mean, there's a lot of things that jump out. It's been so every day I'm just something new, and it's amazing, and I'm like, wow. But I mean, it was really cool watching them in the studio, and I had been in the studio before as a kid. Did one of the clap tracks on "Let Me Get By," and what song was that? Don't know what it means, but like that's all I'd really seen them do in the studio before, and so watching them put it all together, that was an incredible experience.
When you say clap tracks, what does that mean exactly?
Doing the claps.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I wanted to.
Yeah.
So you're on that song? Is what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm actually, there's a photo of my hands in the vinyl. My head got chopped off, but my hands are in the picture.
Did you get credit in the liner notes in the album clapping?
I think it says others.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah, some and others.
you have a musical credit with
Yeah.
with TTB.
I have quite a few on this next album. I think I have
That
4 per episode, something like that, 3 or 4.
that is exciting. What about I mean, what about friends of yours and other people who are not like in the business per se? They must be like, dude, you have the coolest job ever. That is so awesome. Especially if they happen to be fans of Derek or Susan or
Yeah.
TTB. They must be like, damn, that's awesome, dude. How do other people kind of like react to what you're doing?
Yeah, it's it's funny a lot, everyone listens to, especially my age around here, different genre music.
Yeah.
But they still know what I'm doing, and some people are fans, and I get the random text message from someone you kind of know from high school. Hey, you think I could come to a show?
Yeah, if you buy tickets.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's everyone's super into it and thinks it's exciting and always interested.
Yeah. Your dad must be like you're saying, your dad said you're living his dream.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
He's he played in the band for a while locally, and so he's always wanted to be a part of music somehow.
that's hilarious that you're around the age of Derek's son, and I'm closer to the age of Derek. But this band really does attract people of all different like ages and backgrounds. People come in from all different ways. Obviously,
Yeah.
from people, there's the Allman Brothers fans, and then there's Susan fans, and people who've discovered just TTB. I've pretty much been with TTB since like into TTB since 2010. That's kind of like when I kind of discovered them,
Yeah.
right around when they formed, and then I kind of dove back into Susan's career and Derek Trucks Band and even more hardcore into the Allman Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. Have you been to Macon? Been to the Big House Museum or anything like that?
Yeah, me and my dad went a few years ago. We saw Marcus King play in Macon, and stopped at the Big House and checked it all out.
Yeah, I have not been, but I'm going to be going there this summer. I'm super excited
Yeah,
about that.
that's another experience. It's pretty incredible. You're there and you just kind of feel like like you're there in the middle of something.
Yeah, it's like a, I don't want to say out of body experience that it could potentially be, but like those feelings that you have of nostalgia and there's something
Yeah.
special going on like when you go to these types of places and you're around that. Like it's cool that they
Oh yeah.
preserved so much of the history with that. That's
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that and going to a couple of the shows. It's funny because you say you went with your dad. I'm actually meeting my dad in he lives in New York and I'm in LA, but we're flying to Atlanta to check out
Mhm.
those 2 TTB shows in July at the Fox
Yep.
Theater, and then going to the museum, driving down to Macon as well to check that out. So that's going to be definitely a fun experience
Yeah.
for me for sure.
You gotta make sure you hit H&H.
Oh, the restaurant. What is that?
Yeah, it's a place the Almonds ate there when they were forming all the time. It's soul food, and
Right.
it's it's one of those places you can't stop thinking about after you eat. Nothing's as good. You just want
Yeah.
to keep going back.
I think when I bought the TTB tickets or the museum tickets, I went to the H&H website. I was like studying their menu. I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I do. Where am I going to eat 6 months from now? That's important for me. What am I going to eat 6 months from now?
Yeah.
That's important for me to
Yeah.
know for sure.
Chicken and waffles, those were pretty good.
Oh yeah. What's your next TTB show? Because they have some time off right now. We're recording this on May
Yeah.
7th. I know they're off for I think till June.
Yeah, we're off until June. Rehearsals for Wheels of Soul start. Um, Then I believe the Jacksonville show is the 24th of June, and then we hit the road for that, and pretty excited. This is my first time being on the bus, so.
What do they got? They have how many buses are there? How does it work? It's two for passengers and one for gear, or what is the breakdown of that?
It's always changing, especially now that they're all rentals. Yeah, I'm not sure. Can't remember. Sometimes there's two. It's usually 2 or 3 buses, depending on how many people go. I think for this summer it's 3 for just TTB, but it could be 2.
Are there guitar slides scattered all over the bus and like in different places? People tripping over them?
It's not. There's actually sometimes a shortage. You
Really?
can't find them, but
gives away too many.
Yeah, there's stuff laying around, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't spent too much time on the bus.
Have you ever played slide guitar or dabbled with that at all?
I have attempted, and then you hear somebody like Derek play, or Warren, or Dwayne Allman, and you're like, never mind.
I know the feeling, my friend, for sure. I've tried myself. My hand can't keep up with what my brain wants to do. It's like, it's such a cool sound, like just the vocal quality of that dude Trucks, like he has me on like a string is kind of how I describe it. It's just like you're on like this like wave and you're just kind of like following along, and it's a different feeling and a different sound and a different experience than really listening to any other kind of instrument to some degree. It has that vocal quality to it for sure. But even as a slide player, him perhaps more so, definitely more so than like even any other slide guitar player. Obviously, you hear the Dwayne influences, and there's plenty of other great slide players out there. But something about his skill level and ability to convey emotion through the instrument goes beyond, I think, what really anyone on this planet can do. And I could see some I don't want to say imitators, but a lot of people who he's started to inspire. Like I can't. It's hard for me to imagine what the next like level would be. Like, how do you like? Because I think people have dumb arguments. Oh, Dwayne or Derek or Dwayne? Who do you like? All those kinds of things. But I think what Derek has done is take what Dwayne did on the guitar and just like take it to the next level and put his influence,
for sure,
stamp onto it. So it's hard for me to even like conceive of like what the next generation of like Derek Trucks influenced slide guitar or guitar player is going to sound like. I feel like it's going to be like something like Stevie Ray Vaughan combined with like Derek Trucks, like something like someone who has like those like two sounds or something like that. Like it's gonna have to be like a mashup of what he can do plus like someone else, which I can't, which would be like otherworldly, and Derek's already another worldly player.
Yeah, what he does is, especially with the slide, is it's unheard of before, and I'm not quite sure how anyone would come in and get close to the same. I'm not sure if you can.
No,
it's kind of a unique thing, it's kind of speaking through the instrument. So
it's amazing. Like obviously the dude has worked hard and practiced a lot, but like he must have got good really fast. Like there's talent. There's something to be said for talent. But again, you got to work at it and cultivate it to take things to the next level. And it's amazing that like him, Susan, and the band, like they get better. Like that's what that amazes me more than anything. Because if they didn't like get better, so to speak, I would have no problem with that. Like if they sounded like the exact way they sounded in 2006 when they played, or 2012 or 17 or whatever, I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. But you just listening to live recordings, I'm constantly hearing like new things and things I haven't heard, and no two solos or no two intros to let me get by the song or whatever. Like it's always something new with this band, and that's so cool that to
Yeah,
hear them like growing.
it's always evolving. I remember hearing "Let Me Get By" and thinking like, "Oh, I don't know how they're gonna top this." And then being a part of this project, like even from the first time I heard the demos, and I was like, "Oh wow, they've topped it again," and they just keep continuing to do it. I have no idea how.
Yeah, me either. Like I thought Signs was such a masterpiece. Like I really
Oh yeah,
love that album, like so moving, and I kind of like needed that album personally at the time it came out, like super special to me. But just getting the sense of what they're working on now, I think it's gonna be, I don't know, like you're saying, somehow will top previous works, which I would rate 10 out of 10 already. Like,
oh yeah. It's yeah, and it's such a unique piece too. Like it's a project that you know had all that time off the road not happened, and all that time together. Like it's I don't think it can be replicated again.
no, and I'm just so excited to get new music and originals. Like, just add them to the queue of songs that I'll be listening to regularly for
Yeah.
years. Like, am I gonna be like 90 years old still listening to like Allman Brothers, like like sitting on my porch or whatever? Like,
Mhm.
I don't think this is going away. Like this like
Oh no. I think too, like some of the progression of music. I've seen a little bit of like a pushback to like vintage, back to rock and roll and stuff with you know the younger audiences too.
with some of the music that's coming out on the on I'm the Moon, you're saying, or
Oh no, just in general, like you're talking about as music evolves to other genres, talking about like pop music, and I think we're seeing some pushback too to rock and roll. So I think this is definitely here to stay, and this genre of music as a whole will keep evolving.
yeah, trends always come back and sounds always come back, and people find ways to bring them up to date, and that's good to see. And especially with the internet, and like there's
Mhm.
an audience for, like, I feel like almost any niche thing, and you could find it.
Oh yeah,
Like people say, oh, music used to be better, or like bands aren't as good, or whatever, things were better in my day. But if you like dig, or you're like open to it, or you're like engaged in the community of the genre of music that you like, you can find like you can find good stuff out there. Like you were saying, like Marcus King is just ridiculous what that guy does on
oh
vocals
yeah,
and guitar and songwriting. Like, for people to say things like, "Oh, there's music was better back in the day," and this and that. Like, I don't think they're totally paying attention to some of the younger musicians out there.
oh yeah, definitely. There's some incredible people out there, and it'll be more to come.
Yeah, I mean, every day people are just discovering the Beatles and the Allman Brothers. Like,
Hmm.
it's not going away.
Oh yeah, definitely not, and super excited about it because some of this pop stuff not my thing.
Yeah, no, me neither. Me neither. I suppose. Very cool stuff. What about other hobbies or interests beside? I mean, it sounds like you're very open to like learning. Like, you love to learn new stuff and learn new tech and learn new skills.
Yeah.
What about recreation, hobbies, anything like that? Are you a fisherman? You like to throw the football around, or I know the
I
band has a lot of interest. I know Derek likes photography as well.
Yeah, he's got a pretty sweet camera setup, and actually that whole family they're always taking pictures and have an pretty good eye for seeing stuff too.
What about your interests and hobbies besides the professional stuff?
Yeah,
No time for any of that.
yeah, I've always loved photography and music, so I think on my own I'll change what I do with photo and video, do something else for fun. I've always done a lot of nature stuff, so that's kind of one of my hobbies. Stopped playing football. I broke too many fingers. Not good. I'm not athletic.
What position did you play?
Oh no, I just threw up the ball in the yard and still somehow broke everything. So I'm not gonna play anymore. Even catch is too intense.
Yeah, the
But
struggle is real.
yeah, bit of computer nerd. You know, coding stuff, hacking.
I'm gonna keep that in mind for future reference if I need any help with
Yeah,
any side projects.
I
We'll
guess I
talk
should
about that
clarify.
offline. We'll talk
Yeah,
about that offline.
guess I should clarify the hacking too. You know,
Those
with
are
the
jokes, everyone. Jokes.
yeah, you can do it. You can do it ethically for hire for companies to test security on websites. So I did that for a little bit, like freelance work.
See, what I'm learning is that college is a waste of time. That's what I'm getting out of this
Yeah.
conversation. Honestly, like the most important thing I think is to have curiosity and a willingness and an eagerness to learn and to be
Mhm.
supported in that. And like that's the best thing a parent can do, I think, in my opinion, is to I'm not a parent, but to support a child's curiosity and interest. Like I think that's
Yeah.
like above all, besides just saying you must go to college and get a 4-year degree. Like I think just encouraging the child to pursue their passions so long as they're healthy ones, I think is like the best thing.
Yeah, I think, I think college has its place, and I've definitely learned more about myself through the experience. But I like to, I love learning, but the college environment just wasn't my thing. I don't like being sit in a classroom and listen to someone tell me this is how the world works for 2 hours
Yeah, go
when
out there
there's
and
so many
find.
other.
Yeah, I was gonna say go out there and find out
Yeah.
how it works yourself, and it sounds like you haven't done too much traveling, but that's gonna be changing this year.
Yeah, I've done some traveling, done quite a few cruises, been to Manhattan a couple of times, and in high school band we got to travel quite a bit, but it's really just like 4 or 5 cities I've hit a couple of times. So I'm really excited about kind of seeing the country the summer.
No, that'll be fun, and I hope you have a good time. I'm sure you will. What else do we need to cover or talk about? Any other anecdotes or stories? Who's your favorite, not favorite member of the band, but who would you say that you've connected with maybe the most, do you have someone in that you're closest with or talk to the most in the band?
I don't. I'm not sure I could pick one person I've connected with the most, but I will say it's funny. Brandon's super into photography and also plays bass. So that's an interesting thing. We're for the same organization, working just opposite interest, and I think everyone, it changes. I hang out with different people on different shows, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I've seen Brandon's photos that he posts. They're very, very cool stuff. So it's not
Yeah,
like
he's great.
it's not like, oh, I have lunch with the horn section. I always eat with the singers or something like that.
It's
It's
always a
not.
mix. It's just like, if we go do something as a group, you go out and you find yourself sitting next to different people, and um, yeah, but that's the thing too. That, it's everyone's such great. It's all great people, even the crew. So I've never like, oh man, I sent it. It's not like that.
Yeah, such an egoless, family friendly,
Hmm.
family like, you know,
Yeah.
atmosphere. And that I guess that makes sense because the leaders of the band are a family, a husband and wife. So
Hmm.
it all stems from them. And I say that often, like whatever organization you're working for, business you're working for, like the whole atmosphere always stems from ownership and management, and then
Oh yeah.
filters down. So if like Susan and Derek set the tone, I'm guessing like you know that feeds into the rest of the band, and that's like the source of
Mhm.
like the whole vibe of the band is them.
Yeah, and it applies to the crew and all the people behind the scenes at home too. Everyone that's part of the machine is, it's all kind of the same.
What
Very
about
family
yeah?
vibe.
What are the? I mean, I'll just ask you a question or two more. But what are like some of the biggest challenges that you see? I mean, so far for like a band like this, like working together, is it different? Like you say, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, or just the rigors of travel do you think? What are the not downside, but challenges of being in a professional touring band, it's recording band?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's difficult, and I've seen it some. Just trying to make sure everyone's in the right place at the right time, make sure you didn't forget about somebody. I'm sure that's difficult. It's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, people coming in and out. So I'm sure that's difficult.
Just general logistics and just staying organized.
That's probably one of the more difficult parts, but I'm just assuming that. I don't know. They have a great system. We have a great tour manager and a lot of great people behind the scenes that keep the ship running.
Very cool stuff. Very cool. Where can people find and follow you if you, or anything else you wanted to share or plug? I'll kind of give you the floor to do that.
Yeah, I should start using it again, but my personal Instagram, it's kind of that and all the TTB stuff is where you find all my photos and that kind of thing.
And what's that again?
Oh, my Instagram.
Sure.
It's Bradley Strickland 1. It's my Instagram, but should probably start using that.
At Bradley Strickland 1. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time and the stories and hearing all about your music and photography and video and the things you're pursuing. And I wish you much luck with the band moving forward and have a great tour this summer. And I can't wait for the I Am the Moon films and the albums and the music. It's going to be quite a year, I think, my friend.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited about finally being able to talk about it.
What you have a particular city you're looking forward to going to this summer, a particular place?
I'm really looking. Well, I haven't been west of Memphis yet, so I'm really looking forward to the West Coast, going to LA. And Red Rocks, my dad went last year and loved it, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to all of you coming to Los Angeles and to the West Coast. I'll be at LA and San Diego for sure. I got tickets for those already. Obviously, West Coast gets a little bit of the short end of the stick touring wise, but I'm definitely looking. I don't think they've been here since, what was it, I want to say 2019. So it's definitely been a minute for the West Coast, but that'll be fun. I'm sure you will have a great time, and you do a lot of the social media as well for the band now, or no?
Yeah, I'm part of the team that works on that.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that there's been more and more great stuff coming out and on that front too, like just
cool.
great content all around. The graphics, the videos, the photos, the captions, like it's all like I appreciate it all. I almost need like an auto retweet button or whatever for everything TTB puts out.
Yeah, we're looking at how we can take that to the next level and improve the fan club and get a lot more exciting exclusive content coming.
Very cool. Reach out anytime if you need any help with or any whatever. I always say that I'm here to serve the band and serve you guys. Like this is like what I'm all about with this show. Like any way to like promote and help you guys and just be a good fan. Like that's all I want to be. Like just I'm just happy to be this tiny part of this whole world. Like it means a lot to me. But again, thank you for the time.
Super appreciated.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, I appreciate your time and everything. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day and afternoon now. It's afternoon on the East Coast. Still morning here.
Yeah, California. It's 1 o'clock, which is usually when I'm starting my day though, so it's kind of early for me.
Oh, the music life, the musician's life. I see. That makes sense. Very cool. Well, thank you again, Bradley.
Yeah, of course.
And let's talk more soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you got it. Later. So there you go. Episode 74 with Bradley Strickland. That was so much fun. I really appreciate him taking the time. I'm truly excited for not only the I Am the Moon, the films, the music, and all the live shows from TTB coming this year. But I'm excited for Bradley himself, and I'm sure it will be a great year for him too. Anyway, for now, hope everyone is doing okay out there. Please check out Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. That's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. Please remember to tap subscribe or follow on iTunes, Spotify. Definitely subscribe on YouTube as well. I appreciate all the support. Positive reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts are greatly appreciated. I'm at Adam Choid on Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me. Tedeschi Trucks Band, their official website is TedeschiTrucksBand.com. My other podcast is People We Love. Check out peoplewelovepodcast.com, at People We Love Podcast on Instagram. But I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks as always. And let's talk soon. Peace.